To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Hey, everybody want to look at the June minutes? I think we're emailed to everybody. Do I have any additions or corrections? I'll make a motion to entertain a motion to approve.
I still move.
Bill makes a motion.
I'll second.
Ashley seconds. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? We got UC Yellowstone. Marcia?
Thank you. Is this thing on?
Yeah, but it's
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I am.
All right. My name is Marcia Hausman. I'm here representing UT Yellowstone. I am the logistics officer for the organization. You would have my better half here, but he left at 5 a.m. this morning, bringing back his second group from their trip. And it will be a 2-day trip back. So you have me instead. I see some new faces here that weren't here the last time that we were here requesting funding. So I'll just briefly update you. The organization was founded in 2014 by Russell Wilson from the Westport area and a gentleman by the name of Jim Waldo in Ripley County, and the two co-founded 2 separate chapters of it. They worked together for a while till everybody got off on their own feet a little bit. In 2016, we achieved our 501c3 nonprofit status and have run as a nonprofit ever since. We provide underserved, travel challenged students with a 12-day trip of a lifetime. You do have a flyer and my husband's business card there with you if you have questions. We have a lot of other available material. We have mission statement, goals, objectives. We also have community impact statement and so forth, so we can provide you with anything that you would like. We hope on these trips to not just impact individual students' lives, which we do over and over again, and we change the trajectory of their lives many times. But we also hope to impact the community as a whole, because when these students come back and they've learned to practice an attitude of gratitude and give back to the community, it makes a big difference. And we are seeing many inroads. To this point, we have had 153 students complete this trip. And many of these young people come back to us over and over again and saying, this trip turned me around. This trip changed my life. This is where I began to see that I could live differently from what I have been living. Several of them have become very community minded. There are 3 of them that are working diligently within the community. 2 of them have come back and actually gone on trips as sponsors. You can't do that till you're 25 years old, so they've got some growing to do by the time they get out. We have had one young man that came back as a chaperone. Then he came back the next year as a leader. And just this June, Tim was able to sign him off as a guide so that he can go in the place of Tim, and Tim doesn't have to do 2 trips every single year if he doesn't want to. To date, we have had people with a lot of support and help from this organization become journeyman electricians, teachers. We've had early childhood education specialists, CNA, one's in school, in nursing school right now. We actually have someone working in court services, and we also have somebody working in the Decatur County Detention Center right now that came through our program. One's made a career in the U.S. Army, and one has completed his first year as a U.S. Marine Corps member. And again, as I said, we teach these kids to have an attitude of gratitude and to begin to give back to their community. And our hope is to actually turn the trajectory from maybe just kind of down and out, going with the flow, to people that will become productive citizens. We raise our funds by, of course, coming to you as our biggest donor, I will confess. But also, my husband goes around and speaks to service organizations. And if any of you know a service organization that's willing to give him 20 minutes to do a PowerPoint and a presentation, give us a call. They'll be there. We have 70 businesses that sponsor us with small donations every year. We have individuals that also give us donations. We work hard ourselves. We do a golf fundraiser in the spring every May, the first Saturday in May. And if you've seen people running around in these shirts at the fair, we do sell the tickets for Lord's Rides. I fill up 28 slots for the week for people to work and sell the tickets, and we get enough money for the scholarship for one student to go every year from that. We've done it. This is our 4th year, I believe. I write grants as well. And so our request that you have before you today is for the same amount that we had last year, even though the price of the vans did go up some more, and gas has been up out there, but hopefully that will be coming down a little bit. But we kept our request for $7,500 the same as we had last year. Last year, you did give us half of that amount, but we were able to recoup the other half of that amount from the ARPA funds. And so we made out okay. We came out even there. There are currently 14 on the trip. Our goal is to sponsor 16 because that's our maximum cost effectiveness for any trip. So any fundings that we can get from the riverboat would be great. We greatly appreciate anything that we get. And we do receive a thank you from the students as well as us. Anyone have any questions for me?
What's the average cost per student?
It's been right around 2,100. When we started, it was 1,400. So it's gone up considerably. And the biggest part of that jump has been, the largest part has been the van rentals. And we get a great break. We have worked with Enterprise for one passenger van and one cargo van for each trip. And they give us an automatic 15% discount. They also do not charge us. There are 6 drivers per trip, and there's an extra fee. They waive that fee. They also waive the fee for picking up a day early so that we can load our van ahead of time so that we can pull out early in the morning. I mean, they do a lot for us, and it's still not up.
Do you have a budget that we could see?
We do, and Tim always brings one, but I'm not the one that can get into the finances of it. So if you want one before that August, yeah, he always turns one in, because I asked him on the phone last night when he was finally able to. I said, "What am I supposed to do about your financial statement? Because you always send him one." And he said, "Sorry, you can't do that." And he said, "Tell them that if they ask, that I'll bring one in." Yeah, he always provides that. I guess I could have brought last year's, but it would really be up to date. Anything else?
Have anything else? Okay, we'll take a look in August. See where we're at, man.
Yeah. All right, and we'll have that financial statement for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fogel, Mr. Dow.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Steve Galp, I'm the current president of the 4-H Council here in Decatur County. And I've put in front of you kind of a little bit of a letter describing some things with 4-H, and also the back page is our budget from our proposed budget for the upcoming year. I hope that all of you have had the opportunity to head to the fair this week. It's been a fantastic week. The weather has finally cooperated for all the events, from the shows and the 4-H projects to obviously the track events and things like that. But I enjoy coming and staying here because of all the great youth organizations that are in this community, and 4-H is obviously one of those. Been here over 100 years in this community, and influenced generations of youth. Many of you have had the opportunity to see that or be a part of that throughout your career. Many of us here in the crowd have been a part of that. Been very influential. Decatur County this year has over 500 youth involved in 4-H, with 100+ adult volunteers just to put on the 4-H program throughout the year, from club leaders to project leaders, things like that. There's 70 projects available in 4-H to the youth. So it's not just for agriculture. Last night I had the opportunity to sit through the fashion review, right? Everybody gets some shooting sports, fashion review, to fairy gardens, right? There's all kinds of opportunities. This year in Decatur County alone, out of those 500 youth that are involved, 2,450 projects were checked into our fair. The numbers have been growing since COVID, back to more kids involved, more kids in projects. As we compete with sports and everything else, right, in this community, we don't see as many kids taking 7 and 8 projects, but there's kids still that take a lot of projects, take a lot of pride into them. The other thing that 4-H I think is unique in this community is bringing the local community together, right, from businesses out at the fair to buyers at the 4-H auction to supporting all the events from the youth that go on. That may be the camps you see on there. We still send kids to 4-H Roundup. Southeastern Indiana 4-H camp, and over 18 kids go, with a couple of them that were junior directors actually helped put the camp on. So what we're doing and what we're creating through our 4-H clubs and 4-H projects is the next generation of leaders in this community, and building a tie back to the community, right? Some pride in this community as they come back. As you see, if you've been out at the fair, you see kids that have left, families that have left. Maybe they don't live here anymore. They come back for the fair. It's what ties people to this community. But it also helps keep people in this community, right? They have a lot of pride. As I get the chance right now, as my daughter's Miss Decatur County, a 10-year 4-H member, says she's getting her 11th year out of 4-H, and already talking about all the things she wants to come back and do for 4-H in this community because of that. That's the goal of 4-H, right? Excuse me, to build that pride. So for that, right, we thank you for your support. We've put in a budget, as was mentioned with the previous speaker. Last year budgets were tight. We were able to make up our budget with the ARPA, and that's allowed us to become actually a leader. Decatur County is becoming a leader in the state of Indiana in 4-H, and what our extension agents are doing. But with our RFID tags, we did electric project check-in. Purdue actually now is recognizing Decatur County as a leader in some of these things. Actually, some people are coming to the auction to see how we organize to do that. Purdue's watching what we're doing and using us as a model now across the state, with the success we've been having in the growth of members, growth of projects, and also utilizing some of their other systems. So part of that budget obviously goes to that. But as you can see, we get a lot of community support to help offset that. Still have some costs. We do something very unique that maybe you may not know. About 4 years ago, we started recognizing all the 10-year members at graduation. They get cords, they get a special certificate, things like that. That has really built some pride in the kids. It's neat to see them go across that graduation stage, get recognized at the awards banquet for being a 10-year member. That's been a fun new project we started a few years ago. So ultimately, like I said, we're trying to build the leaders for the future here in Decatur County. We've appreciated all the community support of 4-H. And if you haven't been to the fair yet, you got a couple more days. Get out and see all the hard work that these kids have put into it, the pride they put into these projects. It's been a joy for me to be involved with. Questions for me?
Looks like you're about $10,000 short on your budget for this year. Guess we had overcome that.
So actually I was just talking with Christopher about that. So in the way the books worked out last year we pulled the county draw in December of the $7,500. So, making our budgets work calendar to calendar, it doesn't show up, but we were still short about that 1,500 to 2,000. We had some communities members step up and offset that for us. So the budget for year to date looks off because of that draw was made in December. So, or the ARPA funds and things. So we were able to, we're still asking for the same amount we've asked for the last probably 4 or 5 years. We've been able to keep that flat because of community support. We're still coming up just a touch short.
So that kind of brings me to my next question is, your budget, you budgeted 15,000, which last year you asked for that, we were able to give half of it with ARPA. Well, ARPA is a one-time deal. So are you going to be able to adjust this down if you're 7,500 short? We're only able to give you half of what you asked for this year also. And we don't know what our
Sure.
plan is going to look like, but it could possibly happen that we're only able to do what we did last year. Are you able to continue to do your programs and stuff? I mean, you're going to have pretty shortfall if you don't get to 15.
So ultimately that'll fall on us and in the community to step up and support and asking for donations and things like that, right? That's what we would have to do. And again, you know, we have a lot of support in the community. You hate going back and keep asking, but that's what happened. That's what happened. We'll have to work through that. Okay.
Those 500 youth that you had this year, what you have last year, do you know?
So we were just slightly short of that. We've been hovering around that kind of 400 number for our first through 10-year members and almost 90 to a little over 100 in what we call our clover bugs, pre-4-H, the kindergarten to second grade. So that number has been steadily growing, probably about 10 to 20 a year over the last 4 years. And even 10-year members this year, I think we had 32. We've been hovering right around that. This is our second largest class of first-year members that we've had in probably the last 5 years. So the youth are still involved, still growing.
Good.
Steve, where do you think we stand statewide? Are we in the top 10% as far as members per population, or I guess probably hard to tell unless you go through Purdue, get all the information. But
yeah, that's actually a really good question. I would have to think that we are probably easily in that top 20%. In terms of number of projects and things like that, we could be starting to push closer to that top 15. Yeah, I think about St. Joe County, Elkhart County, you know, there's some big counties, obviously. But if I think about local around here, southeastern Indiana, one of the strongest in terms of members and number of projects.
Anybody else have any questions? We'll take a look at it in August.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you. Champion game.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hermish. I'm the director of Champions of Youth, and we are a mentoring agency here in the community. We've been here for over 44 years now. We served last year in 2024, we served 573 kids. The year before, we were 553. So we are getting more and more kids. A lot of people think of our kids as like kids that might be in trouble or something, and that's not the case in most of them. We have a lot of kids that a parent has passed away for some reason. We have some kids that don't have any parents involved in their life. We have a lot of kids that parents are incarcerated. So we're trying to give them a different outlook on life. And having that one-on-one mentor really helps them have a different look and, you know, think that they can accomplish more than what they are surrounded by currently. We're asking for $10,700, and that would, again, help us with rent and our liability insurance. the question was, if we don't get the funding, do we think that we can make up for it? That's really hard for us because most of our money, I guess, come from grants and from the community. So when we don't make the extra funds, wherever we might ask, we have to do another fundraiser that takes away from staff. We only have 3 staff in the first place, so it is very difficult, but we've always been able to make it too, so I can't say that would hurt us, Kenny, if that's a question. I don't know. Does anybody have any questions?
Does the city help you?
The city does not help us any longer.
No,
No, which is tough because about half of our kids come from the county.
I'm not saying we're not helpful,
Right,
but I just.
right, I get it.
If they kick in, that.
Right.
But no, get any help.
Right. They used to. Just about half of our kids, excuse me, come from the city, and half of our county kids. Our county kids are a little more difficult for us even because you have to think of transportation. Excuse me. Transportation to do home visits, to go to the schools and talk to counselors. Our kids come from Office of Family and Children, from the school counselors. They recommend them. We have a lot of grandparents that enroll their kids because they are like thrown into this. They don't know what to do, so they kind of turn to us, and we see such amazing changes in our kids. Like our kids are the ones that want to go out and get a job because they know they're not going to have anything if they don't. So that one-on-one mentoring relationship is just so important, and I think every one of us can speak of that as someone has mentored us, and really taking us under their wings. I think it's good for our community. It's good for the kids, but it is a really good step for our community too.
Anyone else have any questions? Take a look at your respect.
So,
Thank you. Holding court service.
You don't look like that, but I'll do my best. Good morning, guys. I'm here today to talk a little bit about, as we're preparing our budget for 2026, we were taking another look at our insurance. And what we are requesting for the 2026 budget and budgets moving forward is that our insurance continues to be paid out of the public safety tax. And this would be insurance, FICA, and PERF. This would cover community corrections employees in one probation position. A little backstory on that, the judges correct me if I'm wrong, but in 2023, we came to inform you guys that we weren't going to be able to pay for our insurance. We were told to make it in another year, which we did in 2024. We pinched and budgeted really well and made it through 2024. However, 2025, we were not going to be able to do that. So you guys granted us insurance, FICA, and PERF through public safety tax. And we are requesting that continue into 26 and further on. We don't see a scenario where our individual budget will be able to pick up insurance, FICA, and PERF anymore.
How many do we have?
So you have,
4?
yeah, so you have the probation, which is 1. You have 5 total would be coming out of FICA and PERF. 4 of those are community corrections and 1 is probation. And then our field officer, FICA, comes out of public safety tax as well because he's part-time. I'm happy to answer any questions or come back in August with any answers to any questions that you guys might have.
Back to it last year.
Yeah.
Are you considered state employees?
So we're considered county, it's kind of tricky. We're considered county employees, but we have to have a state certification.
State really dictates your wages.
Correct. The Supreme Court dictates our wages, which we're frozen.
It dictates your insurance.
I'm sure you and every other county council. But you're stuck with me. Sorry. Any other
Oh,
questions?
we did it this year.
Yeah.
We just put it back in next year.
Might want to see my face.
Yeah, well, I told Matt, because he asked for 1 year.
Yep.
And he did last year.
Yep. So we wanted to see how things would play out and grant funding and things like that. But unfortunately, we're going to need it next year and moving forward.
Okay.
Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. And the next one on the list is mine, Jake Bauer, Fairgrounds Pay. I'd like to give Jake $1 an hour raise. Me and Billy's talked about it. He mows the fairgrounds, he mows the annex, he mows the highway department now. And for the grief me and Billy gave him before the fair started, he deserves $1 an hour raise. Got news for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
He makes $17 an hour. I'd like to move him up to 18. If that's,
And he's only part-time.
he's only part-time. He's no benefits or anything.
How many hours a week? Well, probably very during.
Yeah, when he's mowing, it's probably, he's
Probably
probably,
good.
yeah, not quite. I think
I don't know.
he's got 2 guys helping him mow the fairgrounds, and then he mows 2, but he's the annex and he has to use his own truck and trailer to take the mower to the annex. So he's, and drives it down to Todd's. He has to use his own truck trailer to take the annex. So, and I don't think it's asking too much. Give him a buck, he makes 17, move him up to 18. Unless somebody got a problem with it.
I think at some point in time, we're gonna have to some kind of maintenance staff out there at that fairgrounds. The building gets done and we get the rest of the improvements done and things start happening out there.
It's gonna take a
Oh,
full-time.
I agree.
It's gonna take
Full-time
It's gonna take a full-time person and staff because the last few weeks I've been out there, I mean, Jake, he can't get it all done by himself. He does what he's able to do, and then still a lot of things didn't get done before the fair just because there just wasn't enough hours. When activities going on there all the year round, why there's gonna be keep thinking about a maintenance staff that's gonna have to be there full time or keep that place where it needs to
Be
be.
self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Is what I'd like for it to be.
I mean, Jake, I don't know how he gets done, what he gets done, because he's going all over the place, but.
Yeah. His phone constantly ringing.
Yeah.
We need
He's
this.
got one person can't do all
His phone ain't ringing, mine or Bill's, but where's Jake?
that. I don't have any problem using the raise.
Do what?
I don't have any problem with the raise.
Well, I'll entertain a motion to give Jake $1 an hour raise.
Make that motion.
Kenny makes a motion. Ashley seconds. Any other discussion on it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, can you do that? Pardon?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking, when we need.
Friday was the end of a pay period, last Friday, so you can either make it start as of yesterday.
That's fine. So, okay with everybody? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Durbin.
Morning, everybody. Yeah. It's actually Amanda's going to present. I just want to say a couple of things. I'm sure you're all aware that our Health First Indiana budget got cut by 75%. Just wanted to let you know we are still going to continue with the programming we have. Not asking you guys for any more money this year. As a matter of fact, the budget I turned in did decrease by 5%. So we are going to be able to continue our programming. At least for now, we're fiscally sound for 2 years based on the Health First Indiana that we'll have for the next IM. Hopefully they increase it again and we'll be able to continue with what we're doing. With that being said, one of the programs we have coming up is our back to school bash. This is this Saturday. It's a really big event. Last year we had 250 kids that we gave filled backpacks with school supplies, filled with school supplies. This year we have 300 ready to go. So we're anticipating a good crowd. We had 500 people attend last year. Really invite you guys to come and see. It's a good example of some of the kind of things we're doing. Again, this is being done without any county taxpayer money, using grants that we've received and gifts that we've received to fund this entirely. So I think it's a great opportunity for people to see what the health department does. Sometimes we're kind of invisible down there. So this is just one of the things that we do that actually benefits a lot of people. We have free haircuts for the kids. We have free physicals for the kids. We have vision testing. We have dental screening, hearing testing, as well as fun activities. And then we also have a huge touch-a-truck. I can't even tell you how many different people will be there with different vehicles. It's really exciting. Kids love it. So I'm done with that part. Amanda Bates is going to present the rest of this.
Morning. So what we're coming today is Leslie Strait, one of our nurses, has worked really hard. She was an LPN for us, and now she just graduated on June 7th as an LPN or an RN. Sorry, excuse me. So we were trying to get her bumped up to $60,000, which is where I set the rate for a public health nurse. And then if we could retro back to the date that she got her RN license, which was 6/7 of 25.
What's she making now?
She's at 31.
Yeah, it's 54,000.
Yeah.
And this is also grant funded.
It's another grant.
Full money's already there.
Mhm.
I got a question when the grants are maybe gone,
Mhm.
where are we gonna be?
That's a good question. I can't answer. I mean, will there be cuts at that point? If we don't find some additional funding, we'll have to make personnel cuts. And everybody there knows that. That's not a secret. We all are aware of that. So
Cause I know, he whacked you pretty good.
Yeah. We don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. Like I said, we're good for 2 years. I know that. With the funding I already have and the funding that we will receive, we're good for 2 years. That's all I can guarantee anybody. 26, 27, and we'll still all be there after that. Who knows?
So you're gonna take a payoff grant.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to allow.
Bill makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Deanna seconds. Anybody else have any questions? Comments? All those in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, I got salary ordinance that day. Is there anything on here you can tell us?
There was one person left off she had a change in departments in 2024, and she was left off. State Board of Accounts is just asking that we now get signatures for change there. She moved from the clerk's office to.
You just need one motion to approve and one signature from everybody. There's about 3 or 4 different places. Fine. Wear me out. Did everybody get that? It really just changed on one person. I want to say, I don't think I've got the full list anyway.
Just that, I think she printed
Just changes. Just an amendment. I'll entertain a motion to approve it. Ashley makes a motion to approve. Deanna second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Can we go back on Jake? I said yesterday, but really the new pay week started on Saturday. Or that might be right. Saturday, the 12th.
He's starting, yeah.
Just to stay with the new pay period.
He works Saturday. There were 3 or 4 on there. Have a. Okay. While you're signing that transfers, gotta look at transfers. Most of them is insurance on the second quarter, correct? And the 911 and IT. 911 is named.
Like a motion to approve of transfers.
Bill makes a motion to approve the transfers.
I'll second.
Ernie seconds. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Additional. Got one here for the sheriff. Really just more or less moving it from county general over to vehicle fund, correct?
Yes.
$6,500. They sold a vehicle and I think, because they're leasing them off enterprise now, then it has to go back into the vehicle fund. Yep. What it amounts to.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Kenny makes a motion to approve. Ashley seconds. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Got an additional for the area plan, I believe it's all area plan, of $11,804.71. This is reimbursement from Tobias Solar petition. Is that right?
Danny, I got a question on
Lay it right on.
that. That solar company reimburses us for what we spend on our lawyer
And other things.
and other things.
Yeah, they,
But
go ahead.
why does that lawyer not come out of Decatur County? It has to come out of a different county, and who picks that?
I
We
think,
picked that, Terry Plan picked that?
yeah, I think that's her expertise. Am I right?
It's correct.
Understanding?
It's area plan attorney.
Yeah, but who decides who that is? This don't smell, that's a smell test on me.
No.
They're paying for somebody, I guess.
It's extra above and beyond costs that
Missy Sholey. We're not
we're
paying,
paying Missy Shoulder.
we're not paying a Cobia Solar attorney.
It's
Missy
above
has
and
been
beyond.
very
It's our attorney, I understand that, but they're reimbursing us for what we spend on.
Because it's above and beyond what we budgeted and what we would typically pay. So they have the
But your
agreement.
plan has full control of who is hired,
Yes.
and where from.
And they're only paying for, like, if Missy is doing stuff for COVID.
Well, Ernie's question is why we're not using in-county attorney.
Yeah, why we
That's what
paying
his question.
$300 an hour in travel time for somebody from a different county to do this?
That was his question.
He's been the area claims attorney since.
Probably
I've been
2 years.
around.
I think last one made like 3 or 4 trips, and it's $1,200 just in traffic.
It's,
You know, of course they can.
is the county attorney actually area plan attorney? So this is the county attorney only for certain offices?
Correct. So area plan has always had their own attorney.
That's my understanding.
And Missy too, they chose, like they said, more than probably 15 years, I'd say ago. They've had the same one.
I probably need to talk to area plan then. See what they're- How they pick who they do.
Everybody understand what it's reimbursement for COVID? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to.
Ashley makes a motion to approve.
No, correct.
Rick seconds. Any other discussion? Anybody else got any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll just say, I agree with Ernie on, I would look maybe at other options for an attorney if the council thinks that rate is too high. And would be the same for any position, right? We have that if things,
If we're paying travel, that's a lot.
yeah, and I don't know, but it's like,
Well, I think it's the local.
I just,
there may not be, yeah.
I mean, Rick,
That's
it's
it.
just like any of these area plan.
I figured
That's
that's
what it is. Okay. Rob, you want to introduce our new Parks Director?
Yeah, that'd be fine. I brought with me today, Parks Department does have a new director. So I brought with me Chris Noblet. Chris comes to us from what I know, is Columbus Parks and Rec. Been doing this for a long time now. He's got a lot of experience with some of the things that we need. And so far, so good. We're really looking forward to working with him. You have anything you want to say?
I appreciate, the opportunity and really looking forward, been here a little over a week now. So, really looking for the opportunity, what we can, do for the community. It's very important.
Been here a week and still here.
Well, that's it. I'm still here, yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
cool thing.
I'll say he's got ideas.
Yeah, good idea.
Good.
Welcome.
Anybody have any questions, Chris? Okay. Gary, you want to introduce the new EMA Director?
Yeah, new EMA director is Mike Snyder. He comes from Macomb County. He was a director over there. Now he is our new director over here and working very hard. Asking me a lot of questions and giving me the best answers I can. But together we will work through it. Did you say, Mike?
Thank you for the opportunity to get introduced.
Welcome to you and Chris, but
Yeah.
glad we got the positions.
And we're stealing from our dog.
Both of you live in Buckingham County? You still live in Buckingham County?
But I've lived here.
Have you? Okay, cool.
Awesome, close.
And, hook you up with a realtor.
Yes.
We're working on.
His wife works in Batesville too. It'd be good.
Yeah, big.
There you go.
How do you have to enforce?
We do have a couple of ribbon cuttings coming up on July 25th at 3:30 in the afternoon. We're going to welcome WealthWave, which is a financial education institution. They are a nonprofit organization running out of the Studebaker studio. So if anyone would like to learn more about what they do, meet Bridget Smith. She is their educator there. You can join us on July 25th at 3:30. And then on August the 15th, we will be cutting a red ribbon over in Hope. So we have a new member called Frame 55. It is a public photography studio. So a new concept for our region. It'd be kind of fun to watch that develop and evolve. That is Jody Westerfeld. So that ribbon cutting will be at 3 o'clock on Friday, August the 15th. Feel free to join us for that. Economic development and the chamber are working together. There are new initiatives that have been passed down by the state that have changed the outlook of what a diploma looks like. for our children who are graduating in 2029 moving forward. They will now be required to obtain work-based learning, internships, apprenticeships, any kind of shadowing hours. So to be able to graduate from any public institution, they're going to have to now obtain so many hours worth of work-based learning out in our community. What that means for our community is that we have approximately 200 more kids who now need to find positions. So we're going to be calling on our business community to help out with that. We will be running a public information session on August the 21st. The time is to be determined. But with that, we will have the Indiana Department of Education, both of our school systems, the Indiana Chamber, and Work One will be a part of that discussion as well. So watch our social media for more information on that, but we want the business community to be aware that there are kiddos who need our help. And however that works for your organization or your business, we want to help them get what they need, help our school systems as much as possible. So the Chamber and Economic Development are being interested in that and trying to get information out, trying to educate everyone on what is needed and how we can best help our kids. So just kind of watch our social media for that. Thank you.
You boss everything?
Rob, you want to give us a little update on that ball diamonds and how funding's going?
No, absolutely. So obviously, I mean, the numbers look great as far as what we're making concession, the accurate numbers right now. And so we're making generate revenue on obviously our concession, our diamond rental, and we're doing vendor rentals out there as well for everyone wants to set up during that time. So we're generating revenue for those three. Numbers look really good. We're booked now. 23 tournaments this year, so we're booked through September and October, all those weekends, and we'll have 2 remaining this month. We have 1 in August. In the last 2 months, obviously, when they play this year, we'll be booked too. So, and as of last night, we're at 21 and 26. We received 3 more last night. So, in next year, beginning of the year, so all of March, April, May, June, and then the 2 weekends, July after the fair again next week are all booked. After that, we're going to revisit that with them. I would say we're probably going to be over 25 tournaments next year. They fill out the end of the year. So things are going great. I mean, it's rec league out there too. They obviously had low pitch and baseball season with no rainouts. You know what I mean? And I think that's the first year they can ever say that's happened. So
With a wet spring.
yeah, with the wet, I mean, it's been a wet year period, I think. A lot of stuff. Things have been working out in our favor. A lot of the things that people thought maybe issues haven't, even some of the officials say, man, it's the best stuff we've ever played on. It's soft. I'm not sore when I'm done and I'm not dirty. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty awesome. And everybody that comes to play and loves it. They're highly appreciative. They think it's, definitely a lot of comments saying we're going to be a hub, Southeastern Indiana for this. So I just hope to see it keeps growing and doing positive things for our community.
Our lodging and everything, everything full pretty much on the weekends. You heard anything?
Well, we haven't looked at placer date in a while. I will say, yeah, I mean, my first sponsor I signed up there was Hampton Inn. They're obviously seeing an impact right away from this. I would say the other hotels, yes, are packed. I mean, obviously we have issues with some of the locations, but we don't have enough rooms, obviously, when we do host, 70-team tournaments. They're having to stay sheltered on base. So, yeah, so I would say, yeah, I mean, anything.
And next year, twice.
Yeah, so our average team amount right now is anywhere from 30 to 40 teams to tournaments because they're primarily using 4. We did have 2 tournaments this year where they were over 70 and they used all 8 diamonds. If they used seeing those weekends, we kind of did as a test because we didn't know how our parking would be. Much similar to the fair, it's kind of what it looked like when you're going down the road. I mean, it wasn't all the way from the fairgrounds. I mean, some didn't report over there, but we were able to do it without having to add additional parking in the grass. So, which was good with the new parking lot, the parking lot being paved. And what we have now, we think we'll be able to make it work. Spend any additional money on trying to get a parking lot in the back there by the time they. So, but yeah, next year is going to be crazy because every one of those tournaments should be 70+ teams.
You'll need more parking.
They're going to, so yeah, You think so?
Correctly.
Rec League, it's a funny,
Oh,
Rec League this year, in my opinion, I mean, I've been out there many years with my daughter playing, and I don't know, it's, you know, it just to me seemed like there was a lot more people out there than
I know.
the prior 5 years. I mean, it really did.
Rob, we've talked about this briefly, but it is a little bit dangerous. I bet when we were out there with the girls, there was a half a dozen times where kids would go between parked cars, people racing to try to get to a parking spot. That's gotta be addressed. Absolutely has to be addressed before somebody gets run over. It's just,
Need another parking lot.
we need something, yeah.
Yeah, no, we shared some. Okay,
Yeah. Is there any opportunity to visit with Shelbyville, Batesville regional tourism departments where if the tournament's here, can that be a regional thing to where that benefits Decatur County some way or another? I'm sure they're staying there or something, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm sure they would say, but, you know, we have this. Not staying in Reedsburg, so it's a watch, but I didn't know if that was an opportunity or not.
Definitely worth the asking them.
If they're filling up the Hampton and Batesville, I mean, that's.
Right.
I could say, well, if you want to tell us.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yes, that Todd?
Yeah, if anything, sure you guys have heard about the new House bill. It's got implemented. It's going to affect CCMG for the state of Indiana. They have dropped the award to the first 100 million. Okay. So that means you got 92 counties going after one call. That will only be in July the following year. I'm not sure where they're at, but they wiped away their second call this year. So all those counties that normally submit for the second call did not get an opportunity. So it is going to make the CCMG very competitive for all the counties. You know, Tim and I have been talking about that. I know we're ready. Okay, but the big thing is making sure you get your submission in. But I think my thinking is I don't know that they're going to give every county 100%. I think they're going to kind of conquer and divide and give everybody maybe a quarter or half what we've got. So the last 2 years, we got $2 million, $1.5 million from the state and $500,000 from the county.
Just community crossing.
Yes. Yeah. So I think there's an extra part in there that if you have the wheel tax implemented, you also get some more money for your county. So I think some of the surrounding counties are looking at doing that.
I've had phone calls.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that the surrounding counties don't have a wheel tax.
Yeah. I think Bartholomew County,
They're
Griffin County. So I think everybody else is going to be implementing that so they can get some of the free pot money. But I know it's going to be very competitive. I've been pretty much, I've got all the projects that I had except for 2025-1 that's going on now. I've got all the projects closed out and ready where I'm not under the gun to do any more work for the state. So I think since I've taken over, it's the first time I've had that done. So I'm usually in pretty good conversation. I'm a frequent caller in the inbox. People that are involved with the CCMG and also the Better Way. But I know it's just going to get pretty competitive for all the counties. So I just wanted to let you know I am Tim and I are ready. So if they have a call later, September or whatever, we're ready to submit.
Good. Additional pass down there to sign for the sheriff, never made it back this way. Oh, you didn't sign the petition?
I
See if
don't
it's
think-
there. Billy hit me. Yeah, I passed it. It was a single page. I signed one of them. Passed it down to Deanna. Handed out a letter. Didn't say copy, it was a written.
Oh, I got my copy.
Yep, there you go. Let's do it official.
Okay, Danny, we're gonna go back to these salary amendments here. There are ones for 2025 also. Sean, do you want to talk to this one here? So because we put names on our salary ordinance, anytime positions or names, somebody resigns and somebody moves on, we have to have amendments. So these are the two, I know that for this one. We got Amanda. Sorry. So this is Amanda and Alicia's. Changing their.
Yeah, what do I?
Just explain that they changed positions. They've been. We didn't have, you talked about changing the position, but this is for the salary.
Gotcha. I guess I'm talking about changing salaries. I didn't know I was talking about it, but I am. So we had talked about in a previous meeting regarding the changes in positions for Amanda Rich and Alicia Navi. And that was approved by council. I guess I need the salary approved.
It's the salary ordinance approval now.
Or the salary ordinance approval is what I'm looking at now. So that took Alicia Navi. She was our food specialist. She's now the health manager. So it took her from 49,212.8 to 57,311.98. And Amanda Ridge went from clinical assistant to population to health manager. Hers went from 48,000 to 84 to 57,311.98. Those salaries were from a salary ordinance.
So that was already signed. And then also Leslie's changed today. We had that ready for the amendment. And then also we just have the Parks Department and EMA just changing people, employees. So that's the other amendment that you guys signed. So I just needed that to be stated and approved. Danny, do you mind saying that for an approval? Yeah, motion. I would say these three. Quarter 1, 2, and 3 amendments.
Quarter 1, 2, and 3 amendments. Okay, we need a motion to approve.
So
Quarter 1, 2, and 3 amendments. Rick made the motion. Dan seconds.
Okay, thank you. So that's how we'll start doing it from now on. Anytime
We gotta vote. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed?
Okay.
Now you can say.
Now, so that's how we're going to start doing it. Just the amendments. Anytime there's any type of employee change, salary change, we'll do an amendment.
Okay. We've pre-signed them, so we're good.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything for the council?
Yeah, you're not adjourned.
Any next motion to adjourn? 30 seconds. Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Any opposed?